You win!
You're metal, dude!
Dudes, deliberating. 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 Dogfish. Deliberating. Dogfish. I'm the dude.
One minute, dude!
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fight! You win!
There we are. That's the right button. There it is.
Play it again.
You got it.
It's kind of
I got it. No, we're there. We're there.
So in our search for sponsorship opportunities, I got some new products I'd like to try out with you guys, and let me know if it seems like it could be a good fit for what we're doing here. I have these
Ricola Ultra.
white noise machines. We could brand them deliberating dog-faced dudes white noise machines.
Okay.
Are they manufactured by the owners of Ricola?
It's a different sort of wellness.
I didn't say it wasn't a different sort of wellness. I asked if they were manufactured by the same company.
Do they make the sound that Honey Lemon makes?
These are great questions to ask, and moving forward, we'll work out a deal. I got the Dome Classic and the Marpack, but they're both different versions of white noise. So I guess we could look at more white noise related topics tonight.
White noise, like talking about what organic fertilizer you're using for your rose beds up to your newly mowed lawn.
Well, that is.
Or are we talking about like 1992 anthrax?
That's
like how football used to be better before the tuck rule.
I mean, right. We're gonna need to just laugh a lot at the macabre humor, and I need to clarify something that I was said last week. It doesn't have to do with Allah or planks or prayer positions. It has more to do with the survivor of pew pew in an educational setting.
Okay.
And I don't know if I said this on there. This is usually what happens after a long stream. It ends, and then I'm awake all night thinking of all the things I wanted to say or should have said or didn't quite communicate, because it was like the synapses were firing in the brain. I was making the connection, but then I didn't explicitly state the connection. So my question is, going forward, if someone in the media is going to declare that they're interviewing a survivor of pew pew in educational setting, do you need to have the actual bullet with you? Do you need to have like a video of a surgeon removing it, or is just like an attendance record stating that you were in attendance at the educational facility the day the bullets emerged from barrels of pew pew shooters?
I would say that as long as your story is extraordinarily polarizing, that seems to be the key feature on whether they will talk to you or not. If you're reasonable about anything you got to say, they don't want anything to do with you. They want only the most polarizing stories.
I just want to ensure that all of my attention is going to literal, actual, factual victims here. People who suffered bullets piercing skin and then survived that, because words have meaning. And if you're a survivor of a pew pew at an educational facility, at a daycare, wherever it is, maybe you're a teacher, maybe you're a student, but if you don't have a bullet piercing your flesh, are you a survivor? Are there different classes of survivor? Maybe you remember hearing.
So can you get forms of PTSD if you are a medic who doesn't actually shoot anyone but continually treats people with you know, gnarly injuries sustained during combat.
Yeah, I think that would be good for the
Okay.
individual who wants to become a politician, who wants
Because you
to
were
counter
you
the
were
NRA.
there, right? You were there, but
Mhm.
the role that you played was, you know, after people got hit, not doing the actual combat itself, not, you know,
Uh-huh.
you know, are part of
It's
mission critical personnel, but you are not engaged in,
right.
you know,
There are a lot
you're
of
not engaging directly.
there are a lot of active pew
Back
pew
off,
drills
dog.
in the schools, so you can imagine the situation. I, I remember when there was like a tornado simulation situation where we'd be in elementary school and we'd pretend together that a devastating tornado was coming through the neighborhood and we had to get away from windows. So we would go and duck and cover in the halls under our where our jackets hung. So we'd put our head between our legs and chase our tails and run, or no, we'd have to sit still. We'd join hands and we'd sing the "We Shall Overcome" song together.
Karen B. I do understand somewhat what Marcus is saying here. I think I kind of fall more on what Steve kind of presented. I do understand what Marcus is saying. So, like myself, and I've actually never said this on air, but I'm a veteran of the Mediterranean Wars and a veteran of Desert Storm, like 3 different conflicts. I think I'm a veteran of. Most of that I was in Germany. I was nowhere near any conflict, so you don't really hear me talk about being a conflict, or you guys go outside. You don't hear me talk about that kind of thing because I was turning wrenches in Germany. You know, it wasn't. I've got medals that talk about me being a veteran of a specific war, but was I in the war? Not really. I just turned wrenches the same as I do any other fucking time. What's up, Rose? So I don't talk about that kind of thing. So that kind of goes with what Marcus is saying. At the same point in time, if I was not exactly on the front line, but still in the combat zone, doing things like Steve said, where maybe I didn't have, projectiles whizzing over my head, but I was also bathed in blood of people that I cared about and wanted to save. And even if it wasn't that, like just anybody that was directly experiencing that, yeah, you're going to be fairly fucking traumatized, I would think. Like you watch enough young kids die, and that's who it is. That's why they're recruiting in high school. That's when I joined. I was 17 when I went to boot camp. Like that's why I don't feel any guilt about it when all the people that are in the truther movement that try and crap on me, and they do anytime I talk about that kind of thing. They're always, oh, they were so smart. When you were fucking 17, you weren't. And I was 17 back in the fucking early 90s. Like we didn't have access to internet. I didn't even have cable TV. We had our TV stations where one of them was like from fucking Winnipeg. So instead of getting Sesame Street, I watched Madame Merci et Mou, the Madam and the Mouse, because there's no Spanish speaking people where I'm from, but there are Frenchies. Like, so
the mouse was in a whorehouse.
We can talk about who's responsible for funding PBS, public broadcasting system.
You are going to sell this pussy.
We need to have Sesame Street continue on forever and ever and ever going forward. We cannot let a series die. It has to continue. Sesame Street, it's our legacy as the white race of America.
But yeah, I see where both sides are coming from on this. But I personally, if you were directly involved in the combat zone, you're probably traumatized by that experience.
And I guess my kind of dumb, naive point would be like, people who survived school violence, it's very, very difficult to have a conversation about that because you're going to say you're being insensitive, you're questioning the details, you want to see records, you want to see evidence of the event happening.
Well, I mean, I would think that the provenance of whatever you're saying should be.
Well, and here's where I will leave it at this point. Last week I talked about two figures whose reason for existence in a public-facing political podcasting media career, they were put in front of a microphone and a camera because they were at a certain location at a certain time at an educational facility where bullets flew through the sky. I don't know more than that. I didn't look too deeply into the situation. And I'm not going to ask them for actual proof that they were there that day. I mean, they might be enrolled in the school. Did they slack off? Did they ditch class that day? Were they not even there? I don't know. But is it like a stolen valor thing where some guys, they go in a military career and they come back and they tell you some elaborate story of how they did all these.
An easier example is the David Hogg. The Hogg,
Sure.
wasn't in that school, came and basically said that he went, there's conflicting stories that say he may have left the school, escaped on his bike or whatever, and then came back and like he claimed he was hiding under a desk. And so I do understand what you're saying with it completely.
Sure. And the reason I bring it up is because these survivors tend to have one issue that they're very concerned about, and they want to change a policy, and they become political. They become like a single issue vote for me politician.
Well, what else are you going to hold them up as? Because I mean, I'm not sure what that survivor status is worth in another political context. Like, who cares? If you're like, I'm a Parkland survivor, no fence
Sure.
no fence in Mexico. You're like, I'm not sure how that buys you any coin. What's up, Jason? Birthday! Happy birthday, Rose!
Right.
Happy birthday, Rose.
We love you.
We've got some other love from commenters too. I don't know if we've acknowledged.
Oh yeah, read that comment, Marcus. This is priceless. This is priceless.
I don't know if I got a screenshot of it.
I've had some doozies of a comment. This one is great. I might put this in my description.
Is this the one you were looking for? The I'm your only fan?
No, the one that describes us as if describes our show as the child of a cryptid in a lighthouse, retired lighthouse worker.
Oh yeah, let me get the exact quote there. Getting so many comments coming in from the community here.
You what, huh? Lighthouse?
Hold on, wait. It's great. It is fucking great.
All right.
I gotta find. Okay, so let's see it. All right. Oh, here it is. So just
he's our only fan. That's just depressing, but probably close to true.
Put it in the back chat there. Why don't you read that? See that on the StreamYard side chat.
So I stumbled upon this podcast while trying to summon rain using only a kazoo and an old sock. I did not know that socks were helpful in the I do understand the kazoo though. What I heard wasn't just conversation. It was vibrational chaos laced with wisdom. Imagine if a cryptid and a retired lighthouse keeper had a child and raised it exclusively on conspiracy theories and sour candy. That's the vibe. Those sound like they met in a dream I forgot. The hosts sound like they met in a dream I forgot, and their banter cured my pet lizards and Nui. Thanks, dudes.
All right.
That's good.
Okay.
Oh,
okay. Who sent that?
The guy, and then awesomely, I guess the guy likes to follow Jay Dyer. What's his name? It's something.
Jay Dyer Wolves.
Yeah, something catchy around Jay Dyer. Apparently, the guy likes to follow Jay Dyer and shit on him, which makes me like him even more.
Mm-hmm.
Right. All right.
Jay Dyer Wolves, yeah, and apparently it makes me like the guy even more. So fucking.
Okay.
And so that does bring up our recent set of events. So I will start laying out the scenario. Although we're 15 past and he hasn't shown up yet. Do we have a guest, Steve?
As of now, it doesn't look like it. It really doesn't.
It doesn't? Okay.
I mean, you know.
I'm a little surprised. So the other day, last Sunday, I'm sitting here, and in the mornings, I like to kind of sip some tea. I don't drink coffee. I can't do the uppers, so I got like a fruit tea I drink. It's very nice. My mug. I mean, sipping tea, and my friend Marty Leeds is on, and so I was like, well, and I see that he's talking about white nationalism, and I'm curious if that's because of this lady that was using the N slur, dropping the N bomb on a playground. At a little kid that was trying to steal out of her purse, and then at a guy that was recording her, and the whole scenario where she's getting money, and a lot's evolved around that. We'll talk about all that later. But so I'm just curious if that's what he's talking about. So I jump in there and see what Marty's talking about, and I say hi, and I ask if that's what there is being talked about. And some people start, hey, Balderson, blah, blah, blah. And so, which a lot of times when I watch shows, that's part of why I don't say anything in chats, because I don't want to disrupt the show, and the flow of all that. And sometimes that happens when I go into a chat. And Marty and I, like I said, we're friends. The guy, he's been on my show a number of times. I've been on his show. I was on his show first. He asked me on his show when I first started speaking in the community. I was kind of surprised. I got an email from Marty Leeds, and I'd listened to Marty Leeds. I was like, this guy's cool. I didn't really understand his thing, and he talks a little fast, so it's hard for me to keep up. But I really thought his stuff was cool. He had some good information. I'm not Christian, so I can't completely vibe with all of that stuff, but I like Marty a lot, and then Marty also, he actually goes out and lives a lot of the shit that he's talking about. So I respected him. And Marty sent me right when this book came out, when people weren't even able to buy it yet. What's up, Jason? When people weren't even able to buy it yet, he sent me a copy of his book. Marty and I have been at public speaking events together. I took him and got him so freaking baked that he got lost inside of a van. That shit was hilarious. So we have a really good rapport. We've, good relationship. And so when people start seeing me chat around, love you, Jason. When we start seeing, Marty is great. So when when he sees people chatting around with me, all of a sudden, Marty starts talking shit about Odin. And so my first reaction to that is Marty knows we got a debate show now. Him and I have talked about it, so I know he knows. When Jay Dyer was originally coming to debate with us, Marty wants to debate Jay Dyer bad. And so I was like, well, if we get this guy on a few times to debate, we'll bring you in maybe and as another guest with that we never talked about. And fucking Jay Dyer is one of many debate dodging dudes. 100%. He dodged us. He agreed to come on debate us, and then pretended like he was butthurt at Steve and blew some bullshit, and then dodged. Andrew Wilson's fucking dodged. He agreed to debate us, to come on and debate me fucking last October, and then just zero dark fucking dodging. And then so I think Marty's just, this is just Marty's, friendly way. We'll have a little spar between friends and stuff. So I'm like, so after he talks shit about Odin and how his shit's superior and all that, I'm like, all right, cool. So I send him a letter, or a letter, and I was like, hey, were you picking a fight? Like, you're always welcome to come on, whether it's, debating with us, because if the Jay situation had worked out, he would come on with us. And be on the same side as us. And if not, then if he was going to come do this, it'd be against us. You know, we're friends. I don't care. So, and then things took a little weird sideways twist.
Like an M. Night Shyamalan movie, but with a point, sort of.
Can we describe the van? The interior of the van, does it have carpet on the floor, the walls, and the ceiling?
No,
but for some reason it has a bunch of eye hooks just sort of drilled into the bottom of it. No carpet or anything. It's just exposed.
We can expose another comment here. Share the screen here.
So let's go ahead and play. Are we going to play Marty? I have a secret. My stomach gets queasy during XJ diarrhea.
So there's a lot of fandom happening amongst the debate bros. So we just want to raise that awareness, let people know that there's a lot of.
Just told us that up front, Jay. I could have, we could have understood. You know what? A lot of people tell me that I'm intimidating, and then if you've got a problem with your, not shitting yourself anyways, and then you get a little scared, and I understand.
I'm just trying to buy Marty a couple more minutes.
Hot pink can't go well together. Like that, the hot pink he's always wearing. Like you could shit your pants if you're wearing like some colors, like a nice, like a brown or even maybe a gray or black. But hot pink, no, you can't shit your pants having diarrhea with hot pink on.
The comments are across the internet, and they're all speaking about these public figures in a public fashion, and we're just bringing some attention to some of the more interesting and colorful and poetic comments that are coming through. Now, you're asking to see a clip of Marty. I know that you sent in from 158, the problem and solution of National Socialism. See if I can share that screen. I was trying to get the live chat replay to show up as well. I have other video method to show it. Let's see if I can stop.
And the weird part is Marty and I would agree on most things. That's part of why we've always gotten along. And we just have respected each other about the religious thing. If you want to debate about it, hell, I'm fully down. Fully down.
Does this look like the timestamp here where we're...
Well, yeah, I backed it up a little bit so we can all see this the pre-context. It's at like 14, a little after 14 that he does it, but I backed it up a little bit so that way you could see what's said ahead of time.
Let's bring up the sound here.
A trickster is what? A curious combination of a typical trickster motif is included his fondness for...
He does talk fast. Are we hearing it clearly?
Have that sped up?
No, it's 1x speed. Do I need to slow it down? Let's listen.
Sly jokes, malicious pranks, his powers as a shapeshifter. You guys know Handsome Truth. That guy's like legitimately a shapeshifter. His dual nature, half animal, half divine. In other words, recognizes the sacredness of the things, but doesn't mind rolling in the fucking dirt. Right? His exposure to all kinds of tortures, and last but not least, his approximation to the figure of a savior. The figure of a savior. What? Because it's a hero role, right? Basically, you come in and upturn a false order. It's not, the tricksters aren't there to be like, we're just here to screw things up because we're a bunch of clowns. No, they're looking at the false order. They're looking at those magical black boxes and saying, go fuck your box. And the trickster will always show up in times like this. And this is why you get characters like this. The trickster archetype will always appear in times of social disorder. Okay? Why do you think they tried to pussify Jesus? They've tried to destroy the white people, the beautiful white race, because guess what is behind that? One of the greatest tricksters of all time, Jesus. Once again, they made him into this sack. There's a turn the other cheek, just let that sort of thing. That was not Jesus. This is why we have to do our church, because we have to resacralize the fact that guy right there, that whole Christ dude, absolute badass, total badass. And we're going to talk about that next week when all the pagans are like, yeah, Christ cuckery and stuff like that, because they look at evangelicals. Wait a second, dude. Do you have any idea how much attack Christianity has been under? Has Odin suffered the same attack? Don't even show up and be like, yes. Don't even, it's retarded. Okay? No, that guy right there, that guy right there was playing Jesus, was going in and upturning the false order. Why? Because it was at a time when it needed to. Why? Because as we covered last week, what happened? Well, those synagogue of
Yeah,
Satan
pause it. So obviously you can see he throws down some dumb shit.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Marty, that I understand not wanting to come in and debate. The position you're taking is fucking retarded. There is one Hoff, which is dedicated to heathens, to strictly to Odin in the whole country. And actually, just a few episodes, coincidentally, Marcus had been studying on it, and the town tries to get them thrown out. The county, like the national media, like everybody tries to shit on it, and they fucking and that's the one. Now, when you put that in opposition to Christianity and Jesus, there's 2 churches in every shithole town that manages to have a gas station. 2 of them, maybe even a third, and some ladies also having church classes in her fucking living room with fucking 6 other ladies that are alternative church type shit. They got more goddamn options of fucking Jesus than you can find options of beers. It's a fact. Where the town I'm from has 83 bars and 110. That the one I was born in, anyways. I'm not from that town. Like that town, the town I'm from doesn't have a hospital because we're one of them ones that has a gas station and 2 churches. So we had to go to the hospital. Where the hospital is, they had 83. They had 83 freaking bars and 110 churches in the town. And the town only had 23,000 people. Like, guess how many pagan worshiping centers they had? 0. And guess who did that? Guess who came and crucified crucified pagans? Guess who drove them under? That was Christians, you fucking jackass.
Marty does say that later on in the sermon here.
As like a high five to Christianity, or
well, this is going to get really kind of complicated really quickly.
Okay.
Some Christians don't even think that Jesus's first miracle was turning water into alcoholic wine. They think it was turning water into a non-alcoholic concentrate of Welch's grape juice.
right?
But
Yeah.
Yeah. They just decided to write wine even though it was juice because they didn't know what juice was.
Right.
So,
No,
maybe
they
it's just
had
a
to turn it
sugar
into
rush.
Baptist communion.
The wedding party went for 3 days, and there was a lot of dancing and excitement and energy due to the sugar content in the grape juice that they were not used to drinking.
And I'm not a Christian myself, so and I don't know. And I've heard him talk specifically about the King James Bible, and I believe in the King James Bible, Jesus says, "Turn the other cheek." So I'm not sure, like, if you guys like he acted like it never got said or they're misquoting, but I've seen the King James. Can you pull that up, Marcus, just to make sure? Maybe he doesn't say that. Maybe it's out of, but I believe that's a direct quote that's fairly famous. Like, if you don't want to use that quote or you think that quote's bullshit, then okay, that's fine. I mean, it's not quite going with your, and I do understand what he's saying, that while the guy said that, he did overturn the money changers tables and whip some people. But I can't explain any of that. I don't even have the context for it. But I would have had a debate about it.
So is that Matthew chapter 5, verse 39, talking about turning the other cheek?
I don't know. Why would I know the fucking verse of that, Marcus?
Well, I thought we were going to do some Bible quizzing tonight, or quiz each other on.
Well, I will fail. I will fail.
But what you do know is Odinism and paganism, and what is your expertise here?
I am an Odinist, and I have a fair amount of layman. I would say layman. I'm not an expert at a lot of other different mythologies or religions or cosmologies, whatever. I've studied a bunch of them. I would, call my, just I'm more generally aware than most people. And I wouldn't even call myself an expert at Odinist. I am an Odinist. I don't know how to fucking read the original language or anything like that.
Okay. And I understand that some people have Bible studies on Tuesday nights, and scheduling a live debate session on Tuesday is difficult. So we don't have Skype. Skype is no longer in existence. We do have a StreamYard. The link was sent.
I sent the link to Marty, and we have given him half an hour. Well, actually, we sent it 8 minutes before the show, so we've given him about 40 minutes to show up. So the way it went down was after Marty did his shit talk, in his sermon where he can't, where I can't reply, which is fine. I thought, like I said, I thought he was just fishing for a, damn it, stop it, dude.
Here's the dial tone.
The dog. I thought he was so,
dogs getting on the phone, calling bitches.
Yeah, he's trying to call up somebody to come get him. He's like, "Come take me away. I don't belong here." No, actually, I don't think he would ever leave. The reason he's on the phone is because he won't get out from under my ass all the time. He's like, "You saved me from getting killed by other dogs and eaten and starving. I love you." So he don't stray too far from me. But so I sent him a friendly email. It says, "Were you fishing for a fight this morning, sir? You know you were always welcome to come fight with or against." Because I said he's a friend. That's cool. And he sends back a very cocky, "Not fighting, just educating. It's what I do, and I am really fucking good at what I do. Pagans and Christians need it bad." I'm like, "Oh, okay." That's how this is going.
Some education trauma. I know that there's people that have learning. Can I say the word disabilities? People learn differently. They're spicy and neurodivergent ways, and some need visual aids, and some need to not be able to take a test to be able to not have anxiety built up around it. So again. Education. So there's this word sacralize. I don't know what that means. And then there's this word resacralize. I don't know what that means. Let me finish it,
Marcus, or are you going to keep diverting?
If pets are going to be spayed and neutered, is that like reattaching something to it? To resacralize.
So I replied, I mean, more than quite a bit off on more than a few things. We just discussed some of it. Mm-hmm. But we could sure hash that out in a fight. We're both Midwestern boys. We can go behind the woodshed and be friends after. After you get thrashed, we can make fun of Jay Dyer douche together. We're live on Tuesday, 6 Pacific. Come on with that education then. Come give me that educating. Fucking good at what you do. And so he replies, "After I get thrashed, ? Laugh out loud. What are you, 6? This is a guy that says shit like fucking totes my goats. Are you fucking serious, Marty? Are you trying to make fun of me for saying thrashed in the terms of fucking...
Right? Are you a 14-year-old girl?
Yeah. It says, "I'm good." I said,
yeah, that's exactly what Jay Dyer said too, yeah. Marty Leeds. That's exactly
Marty,
what Jay Dyer
how
said.
much of a cunt you are like him. So... Wow. So I said, "Oh, no. I said, well, when you live in a country that has 2 churches in every tiny town, but you say stupid shit like you did, then yeah, you're going to get thrashed. Fucking hilarious. What are you, retarded? There's been one fucking Hoff allowed in the country, and it's regularly attacked. But keep on whining with your Jew-light desert hippie shit and how you're oppressed. Come fight, you whiny bitch. Don't just talk shit." Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, this went real sideways. Like, I thought we were friends. Like, what the fuck? So, and then I said, "Really, Mike?" Because then later on in this, and I'm sure Marcus has this clipped out, fucking really my favorite part was when you said they didn't have language. We'll go over this. I'm sure Marcus has a clip, but according to him, Christians taught all the other people how to language because they didn't have language. They all walked around going, yeah, like, you dumb motherfucker.
Well, yeah, no, that's
and then
true.
and then the whole trick with we didn't have writing was because we didn't have an alphabet. Alphabet means alpha, beta, blah blah. It went in that order. We had a futhark, you stupid motherfucker. That's because ours goes fehu urus turazaz. We don't have an alphabet. We have a futhark. We had language, you dumb son of a bitch. What
So, for
the
those
fuck
of
is
you
wrong with you?
not watching the live broadcast, a Futhar is not that little tubby upper pussy area.
Like a
Totally-
giblet, like a dangling
Totally
giblet.
different
Yeah.
thing.
All alphabet
Totally.
is the first so many letters of their system. Futhark is the first so many letters of our system. There's actually even also a Futhork, which is where after the 10th century, after mingling with Rome, one set of the people that used that language truncated theirs and came up with the younger Futhark, which took out a number of symbols and truncated it down to 16. And then another group added another 8 and made theirs 32, but theirs is a Futhork instead of arc, and it's just because of that's the first so many letters is all that is. And so and 100% Jason Gay, they don't want debates. They need to keep their followers supporting them. It's not ideas, it's charisma that fools the followers. Can't have holes poked in their theories. Exactly. 100%. And so because and they will all go up against heathens or pagans, the dipshit kids that just LARP about it. They love arguing with those guys. They don't want to argue with me. And so I said, really, my favorite part was when you said they didn't have language. It's like you're a chicken shit like the rest of the Jew light worshippers. We can just go through the stupidity you spouted piece by piece and shit on you without you there and give you an educating. We can hear all about your hermaphroditic occult laughing at him because on a different video, him and I have already had it out. He tries to make everything into a hermaphrodite because Adam Cadmon, fucking, that's not the way heathen thing started out because he tries using Ymir and makes Ymir into Adam Cadmon. But Ymir had an opposite, a Dumbla, a feminine opposite. And then the progeny of those were the gods and the giants and the dwarves and blah, blah, blah. So there was never this hermaphroditic figure. That's for you fucks. And it doesn't make sense. And he said, you go and debate your world. I'll live mine. At this point, I'm not sure if the guy is fucking drunk. Like, I actually do fucking occult lab work and shit like that. I live off grid. I practice everything I talk about. I don't deny that he also lives the hard life and does the things. I also don't deny that. But to try and act like I don't know do you remember who you're talking to, you dumb shit? Like, did you just go on auto fucking shit talk? You don't actually know how to talk shit, so you're just like throwing out things from other conversations, you dipshit. And I said, laugh my ass off. Have you been snorting too much Adderall? Has that shit went to your head, you tweaked out pussy? Do you forget I'm an actual lab alchemist? No, you didn't. That's why your bitch ass mouthed off, but you won't come fight. Fact. You read books, bitch. You don't know shit about the occult. I bet you bet you'd stand well against people like Archaics, who also didn't do anything, but didn't read the books either. You were all about fucking debating guys like that, 100%. You have zero chance in a debate with me, I am aware. No idea then why me just visiting my friend and saying hi would have him talking shit unless he wanted a debate, which I thought, this is fun. But now I think you're a chicken shit bitch who talks shit, and that's sad. You were one of my first friends as a speaker and someone I listened to before that and respected. To see you talk shit like a punk without any desire to back it up is sad. I would have enjoyed a match. I won't enjoy this, pathetic bitch, and I'm not. This don't make me happy. A spirited little back and forth about our different religions, theologies, whatever you want to call it. That would have been fun. This isn't fun. I like Marty. I don't know what's going on with him. Maybe he did have too much Adderall that day. So he's like, I didn't read that. He said, no worries. It'll air Tuesday. The show will be at 6 Pacific. I will send you a link. If you show and defend your mouth, it will be Christians versus Odinist and a proper spicy debate. If you don't show, it's going to be the breakdown of Marty Leeds and how pathetic he's become. And can't wait till next week when you show us all fucking your shit version of a cult about how much more spiritual the freaking Christians are with your Jew light bullshit.
Gnosticism, the truest version of Gnosticism.
Jew magic.
So this is where things all get intertwined with colors of skin, amount of melanin, the clothes you wear, the way you style your hair, the church you go to or don't go to, the community you live in, the country you live in, what your visa or passport says. These are all just into one sort of sermon here. This idea of whiteness is kind of the topic,
which we will also discuss later because I wanted to before that.
Right. Are we ready?
Exactly. If you wanted adult conversation, you would have went somewhere else. But you are here, my friend.
So we got some clips to begin playing. I'll just pause throughout the clips. The one that says
14 and 88. So 14 is a really easy one to remember. You can actually just find it on the phalanges of your hands. You got three little segments here on each finger, 2 on the thumb. Good way to remember this is actually we must secure the existence of our people and a future for Gnostic children. So that's a good way to remember, which is the problem and solution.
For Gnostic children. Okay.
So he did the fucking 14 words and just all right. That's all right.
This is how you get attention on the internet,
I guess.
Okay. Sunday service number 158, 158. The problem and solution of National Socialism. It's a very hot topic, and not in sort of a Molgoth way.
Of National Socialism. And then next week, this is sort of Trinitarian 3 into 1. Next week, we're going to do Norse mythology and resacralizing paganism. That's what we're going to do. And so, and that's going to be good. And what we're essentially going to do is look through the mythology of paganism, of Norse and that sort of stuff, and find the commonalities that we find with Christianity. And realize that, guess what? Those pagans, they're actually probably not our enemies and things like that. And we'll go over that next week. So, but this week, we're talking about the Nazis. Number 1, part, I think we're doing this in 3 parts, maybe 4, I'm not even sure. Part 1, the white demon. That's right, we're going to talk about how all the whiteys are demonic just because of your skin color. Of course, that's what we've been fed all of our lives, and we're going to do what we do and unspell the magic. Okay, we're going to dispel this nonsense.
Pause it there for you.
Yeah. It is wisdom. You're right. Yeah, see, and we normally get along. Like I said, I don't even understand how this went where it did. The whole thing was kind of amazing for me. Like I said, at first I took it as just a friendly call out, to have a little friendly sparring match, and then afterwards he could even use that in his thing. Like, look, we agree on all these different points. Great. And then it went weird.
It gets weirder.
Oh, the magic. Okay, we're going to dispel this nonsense. So we're in the process of resacralizing. What we're going to do today is resacralize the white race. Resacralization refers to the process of reviving and restoring religious or spiritual meanings to areas of life that have been secularized or lost their religious significance. Well, guess what, people? And there's a lot of races that don't want to hear this, and we don't give a shit. Guess what? God made all the races, even the Jew he made. Yes, he did. God made all of them. Why? Because apparently he wanted them all to be here.
It's not a race. It's a religion.
They're all sacred in one way. in his eyes. Now, of course, he gave us the ability and the willpower to do what we will in those flesh vehicles and in those white, yellow, red skin, whatever, and that will determine ultimately your morality.
Pause that.
But
Pause that. He filmed himself picking his face and then delete for like 15 minutes and then deleted it later. Dude, because I was like, I haven't seen Marty in a minute because I've been busy, and I was like, why does he look like he got chibbed? It looks like somebody tried to chib the dude. Like, why is there crackhead pock marks in his face?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, if you're picking at it, that's how you get that. It's gonna happen.
The lack of beard is disturbing.
I should have known not to trust a dude without a beard. You know, like, I should have just known. You can't trust them ones.
Fiberglass. Yeah, that's a good story. It is.
we will in those flesh vehicles and in those white, yellow, red skin, whatever, and that will determine ultimately your morality. But guess what? Apparently God wanted there to be a bunch of different races because that's why he created them. So that means at some point there's got to be something sacred about them somewhere, right? Okay. Well, we've been told all our entire life, it's like, well, not if you're white, though. If you're white, then you're a white demon or whatever, right? Which is just retarded. Now, look at the actual history of this fucking white guy. What does this white guy do? Am I just here to promote all white stuff and everybody else's shit is terrible and down with everybody else and up with me? No. No, just as we'll talk about next week, what we do as Gnostics is as we elevate ourselves, we try to elevate everybody else around us too. That doesn't mean we necessarily want you to come and join our nation and be in our house and marry our daughters and stuff like that. No, there is separation and segregation and stuff like that. But ultimately, as we lift ourselves up, we want to lift everybody else up with us. Why not? It seems kind of stupid, honestly, to think anything else. What does this white guy do? As I'm helping, this is my life dedication to resacralize Christianity, obviously. But what else are we doing? Okay, well, let's just start. What did we do this year? We did 2 documentaries. And what were they related, aimed at children, to teach children? I did them for absolutely free, donations. And what are they? We did the Cherokee story of creation and the Ojibwe story of creation. And we looked at them, and what did we do? We resacralized. We went in, and I studied my ass off and learned things about those cultures and then put them all together so that people could understand, hey, guess what? These people had a sacred tradition too. This is a white guy doing this. If I didn't care about all these cultures, then why in the hell would I take the time to actually do all this work for literally no money? I didn't get paid to do it. How about Frank's Hill, the ancient mound builders of Wisconsin? Why did I do that, Doc?
No money? Cash App or Zelle don't count?
Just gold. Gold.
It was dental fillings?
Documentary. I'm from Wisco. That's my stomping grounds. Do you know how the Ojibwe? They're a Anishinaabe, man. They live right by the Menominee. Why do you think I did that? I'm honoring my tradition. How about the KKK? Now, I'm not Protestant, and I wasn't a member of the KKK or anything like that, but guess what, man? Well, the Protestants, we have a lot, we could draw a lot of parallels to them because they're basically the people that are like, hey, the church is corrupt as fuck. And guess what? The KKK were saying, guess what? The church is corrupt as fuck, Catholic Church. And guess what? The government's corrupt as fuck. Well, shit, I think we have a lot in common. Why did I do a 4-hour live stream promoting the KKK? Because what did we do? We went in and showed what was sacred in them. How about when we looked at, we went to Nuremberg, we did this several different times. I went with my wife, and we went all over Germany. And we looked at those cathedrals, and we went in, and basically, what did I do? Jennifer and Susie and Will said the same thing. Basically, Susie did, right? Friends over in Germany there. She's basically like, I grew up in Germany my entire life. I never understood any of this sort of stuff. No one ever taught me about it. No one ever showed me what the symbols mean, why the architecture is important, blah, blah, blah. Nothing. In other words, her white tradition, her white heritage, her white country, they didn't know anything about it, and yet it was sacred all day long. So what did we do? We went and resacralized it. We did the same thing with the KKK, the Ojibwe, the mound builders of Wisconsin that we did with our own Christian heritage and tradition. How about once again, you look at the Serpent Mound. How about the Freemasonry? Why do I do that? Because I'm here to promote and resacralize the things that I love. Part of that is my white heritage, my European stock heritage. It's sacred. So,
Pause for comment.
I can't disagree. I mean, I also I'm a tribalist myself, and I agree that each tribe should be allowed to prosper and flourish inside of itself. Jewish is not a race; it's a religion. The Hebrews are a race, and the Hebrews should be able to thrive. Also, I agree. Each race should. That's a pretty common thing, and I agree that in the United States, like for myself, because of the way the mainstream has started portraying things, people from the Midwest, where it's super white, because we live shitty hard lives, that's very ethnic still, even though it's all white people. So if you go to like the different, like the Swedish,
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, so just being white, we've already been truncated down to where and this is part of why they can say we don't have any culture. Like one of my very favorite desserts and very favorite things is Coogan.
Lutefisk?
No, it is not fucking Lutefisk, Marcus, you nasty.
Well, I'm just gonna brag a little bit.
You know that this man eats the pussy. That's been a thing on a lot of the debate shows right now, and girls asking dudes that, like, they'll X him out if they won't even say it. If he'll eat that nasty ass fish that he does all the time, he don't care. He's munching that like a little kid on a freaking bowl of pudding.
Rice and lutefisk at the same time,
like a pit bull on a birthday cake.
Yeah. You can't enjoy something like that, and like that's going to be like cherry to him straight up. But like Coogan is one of my favorite things. If you didn't grow up in a super German area, you don't even know what Coogan is. It's just not a thing, because we had our own things and our own little customs and our own sayings and like the oofda and shit like that. Like we have our own things, but because we've been clumped together by the media, that's taken all of it out, and it's like, oh, white people don't have any culture, blah blah. So I do agree that this has happened, and the only people that it's okay to be racist against, they've even redefined racism to be this thing where only white people could possibly be racist. Like, you redefined it so only one group could fit that qualification. Like, okay. Yeah, that's it. All other races can say and do whatever they want, and they're not racist because their new definition, which includes having held power over other people, and which would mean just being the majority. That typically there is some cases where the minorities held more power than the majority, but not typically. So I agree with most of what he's saying. Again, and I usually do with Marty. So I don't know why this went sideways. I don't know. Maybe he was too freaking high and didn't understand what I was saying. I don't know.
When it comes to culture, the idea of food, we have fusion restaurants where we mash up like Korean with Hawaiian, or we'll add pineapple to pizza, and that's a new invention by the white race, that sort of idea. Culture, food, meals, holidays, these types of things. Specifically in this discussion of resacralizing whiteness, I guess, he's bringing up this idea of elevating it. Okay.
Which sounds good. And then when you later on you find out what he means, he's very much like one of the other hot debate points right now is how conservative feminist movement, where they act like they're conservatives, and it's mostly to hook up with a Chad type dude, but really they're still feminists. It's like, oh yeah, he can be in charge as long as he does what I say. Like that type of shit. They just aren't offended by what he's doing, but as soon as you come to any impasse, they certainly aren't willing to still hold that he's in charge bounds.
I would just consider this entire stream our YouTube comment in response before his Sunday sermon so that he'll have some additional information for his PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah. And then
Out of love and respect.
When I've always had a problem with white, the term white. Now, if the white nationalists are listening to this and stuff like that, like, well, I'll tell you why, okay? And I've said this for years, because to me, no matter what, even if this wasn't the intention in the first place, it absolutely has been used as a magic spell. The term white. This is what I mean. If you're an American Indian, you know you're from America and you're probably an indigenous, right? If you're Alaska, they even point to the state, the geography where you're from.
What if
Asian
they're part
Indian,
of the noble
Asia, you're
Ojibwe,
Indian, right?
Marty?
Dot, obviously, right?
He pronounces it differently than you do.
Ojibwe.
Ajiwa? Ajiwa?
Ojibwa?
Ajiwa?
Ojibwa?
Ajiwa.
I am the Ojibwe now.
which I don't understand how he doesn't get just getting it down to American Indian. You know, there was each of the tribes was fairly distinctive in their customs and had their own
Right?
things that they were known by and for.
Used to be a lot of them too, Marty.
Yeah. But he's Christian, so he don't give a shit.
Just skip over that bit a little bit because there's no white nationalism without that particular let's turn hundreds of tribes into about 3 dozen and give them all casinos.
We could put any word we want. You know, it's like a Mad Libs blank space here, followed by the word nationalism. So you can have white nationalism,
Mhm.
black Hebrew nationalism, Christian nationalism. I don't know. What
If
are
the
the words
black
would you
Hebrew
combine?
Israelites ever got like their own country,
Mhm.
that'd be wild. It would be.
Those guys are the best. You know what? If you're going to be a Hebrew Israelite Jew, that is the one, because you've got to go for the most entertaining. And those
Right.
guys are highly entertaining.
You better be brother Shadrach.
We're offering solutions tonight. Neighborhood, start with one house, then get a second house, get a third. Just like in play Monopoly, just focus on one color in the district. And
Oh, I thought you were talking about how Muslims buy property in California.
well, that's another debate we'll get into. Having foreign influence purchasing property and then renting it back to the civilians who live in that country.
Oh, interesting. Instituto Permafloresta. I assume that's some kind of a permaculture thing. You would very much enjoy my last Friday's Secret Society of Good Guys appearance. We talked a lot of permaculture, good stuff from Brazil. Nice seeing you. No permaculture tonight. It is an excellent topic, though.
We did throw that up on our Deliberating Dogface Dudes podcast feed for the audio listeners. That's on Project Cheney's YouTube channel and the Secret Society of Good Guys channel. I think they got a X Twitter place where the video is posted. We'll have to get those links out in case anyone didn't see the live stream with Benjamin Balderson and Project Cheney. And
Always fun being with Cheney and Abby and Layla.
Abby
Love
was
those guys.
excellent. Got a lively chat. We're just gonna have to get through this clip here. It's we'll do it. We'll join hands and sing together as we listen.
Black or African. When you say African, or you say black, you know you mean African, which means you're talking about a geographical area. How about Chinese? Filipino, from the Philippines, Guam, Japan. Hey. We're trying to talk Nazis here, Negroes. Good Lord. Anyway, how about Korean, Hawaiian, Asian, Vietnamese, white? Where are white people from? Every other distinction here is a geographic area. Then you have a non-color to explain us white people. And to me, one of the reasons that's done is to whitewash. We're actually not white in this sort of sense. Yes, we are white, obviously, right? But we should be called what? Europeans? European Americans? Why is it all Chinese and Philippine? Why are we white as opposed to European Americans? Is that to maybe possibly whitewash our history? I don't know, but that's what's being done, right?
It's like he's channeling Seinfeld. And what is the deal with the racial cards? What do you mean I'm white? I'm pink.
Put it on a t-shirt, and that becomes your identity.
Like Seinfeld on Adderall with a shaved head.
Are you tone policing right now, Stephen? We talked about this last week.
What is the deal?
That's a pretty good Seinfeld. That is a pretty good Seinfeld. Yeah, the only Christian guy that has not backed out and chicken shitted so far is Jim Bob, and obviously the debate has not happened yet, so the
he
jury
got
is
extra
out on this
famous.
one.
He got extra famous over the whatever appearances. He probably forgot all about Ben Balderson.
No, we were making fun of rich people together in emails earlier, so he hasn't forgotten.
Okay.
But he has also not committed to a date. So,
right.
But I feel like Jim Bob's more down to earth as a guy. He's not as uppity as most.
Anybody with that T-shirt selection has humility. That's
You can't wear a shirt that's all flowers and wear it unapologetically, like not as a joke, and not be very comfortable and kind of humble. Like,
right. Or an undercover FBI agent at a freaking hippie jam band concert.
In Jim Bob's defense, he has been to Hawaii, so he is allowed to wear floral patterns.
Yes. Yeah, and it's not even, he might have wanted to debate last week, but I was supposed to go. My dad came, and we were supposed to be gold mining and whatnot. So I had to tell him, I can't do anything this week. And now he's down in the Bay this week on whatever and whatnot, and had a number of shows on whatever. So I'm assuming that that's what's going on. But no, he is not committed to a date yet. But I'm presuming he's going to be the first and not complete chicken shit.
The name of the YouTube channel is in all caps, whatever.
Is it?
I think.
I don't know. Christy watches that usually. I don't. And like I watched the ones with Jim Bob. Oh, I did used to watch the ones with Andrew, but he's been on so fucking much, and I can't hardly. Christy likes because she lived in that world literally, and she likes to hear the breakdowns of that kind of thing. I can only take so much of it, which is usually like 3 minutes, whatever it takes me to smoke a cigarette and get the fuck back out of the house.
Okay, that's enough dumb whores for today.
Yes.
Let's talk T-shirts and slogans and flags and looks like a Lucky Charm there, and a German flag, and
I'm not cynically capitalizing off of your nationality by printing one of every white freaking European background. No, I support all of you. That's why for only $39.99 you can get this ugly as fuck heavy ass cotton t-shirt that the design on it is going to erode after the third wash. You can do that. Come on down.
That's one of the reasons
Marty's merch shop.
It's one of the reasons I'm saving my money.
Spring, huh?
I'm saving my money for debate university tuition.
We all are. We all are. Yeah.
$249. I can go without a couple of t-shirts.
Go to the AM Wake Up, buy me a coffee, become a monthly subscriber, and maybe by this time next year we can all be debate university graduates.
Right. And to clarify my statement earlier, it's okay if people have Cash Apps and Zells and PayPals and things and buy me a coffee and support that is totally fine. But to say you've done all this work putting out documentaries available to the public without cost to them, and then not having any sort of way to tithe or gift or charitable donation, that's what I was trying to point out. It's okay to give money. It's okay to super chat. It's okay to ask. It's okay to give and receive. Just saying, if you're doing all this work out of the love of your heart and the ministry of your Gnostic Academy, I don't know. I'm trying to understand the purpose and the goal and the modus operandi and what's motivating this series of sermons.
Well, the payments on that yurt and that badass 1991 hippie tapestry behind him.
It looks like a dojo. Or are you talking about a dojo?
A dojo of Gnostic knowledge.
He didn't just visit Hawaii; he lived in Hawaii. So you gotta cut him some slack on the cheesy background.
Who's that other guy that lives in a yurt and has a dojo and he feeds chipmunks and squirrels on live streams?
Sam Tripoli? No, I'm fucking right. He has the dojo of comedy.
Some true guy. I don't know.
Oh, are you trying to get?
Did James ever live in a yurt?
I don't know.
I know that he liked to go out with young boys and hang out in the forest and make dragons, but I don't know if there was ever yurts involved.
It's a small world. There's a lot of streamers and YouTubers and content producers and creators that we all know and we see at events, and people talk about all the people and what they're doing. Tonight we're focusing on one creator and the color of his skin, not the content of his character. Or did I get that wrong?
Well,
proud to be, if you say proud to be white, right? If you say white power, people like, ah, they fucking lose their minds, right? But this is what white people are. They're Europeans. And European shit is awesome. We'll talk about it. Of course I'm awesome, I'm Polish. I hate being this awesome, but I'm Irish, so I can't help it. I may not be perfect, but I'm German. Pretty much the same thing. I hate being sexy, but I'm Swiss, so I can't help it. Okay, now exchange this with white. Of course I'm awesome, I'm white. Wear that shirt around. Do you see what I'm saying? No matter what, if you call yourself white or whatever, it's been used as a mind spell. The same as the word, I'm saying this word, YouTube, disclaimer, fucking caveat. I run an academy, and so we have to talk about linguistics, so I have to say some words, and so people know what I'm talking about. Just like the word nigger.
Oh, I thought
Is there anything natural? No, it just means black, but what has it been used? It's been used as a mind spell. I hate being sexy, but I'm white, so I can't help it. I may not be perfect. I may not be perfect, but I'm German. Pretty much the same thing. I hate being this awesome, but I'm white, and so I can't help it. No problem with that. You switch it to white, and what happens?
White lives matter.
He's channeling his inner Perry Farrell. That's all. That's all. Do you guys know what I'm talking about there in the private chat?
Perry Farrell.
Do you know the song?
Perry Farrell, is that a musician?
Yeah.
Is that a white
Jane's
musician?
Addiction, Porno
Jane's
for Pyros.
Addiction. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think I was allowed to listen to that secular
Let's
music.
give it another half hour or so. Make sure that the tubes is not, because that's going to definitely burn our YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah, but
the clip comes from YouTube.
I know.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the copyright hit.
Oh, well, I mean, we can, you run like 30, 45 seconds of it, pause it.
Yeah.
Talk about what we heard.
Ice-T and Perry Farrell doing a love scene.
Yeah, let's
hugging and
keep
kissing.
rolling. Let's keep rolling this.
Okay, we got
but
some more.
It perfectly aligns with what he's talking about.
Okay, noted. We will return to that.
Interesting, huh? So this is why I said that, like, basically when you say white, what happens is you actually kind of like whitewash where you're from. You say Chinese, Filipinos, from Guamanian, you're from Guam. You say white. Okay, no, you mean Europe? And then this is funny. Noel Ignatieff, you know this guy, what a pile of shit. He's a Hebrew. How the Irish.
I mean, I agree with what he's saying here,
Mm-hmm. Some interesting book covers. I haven't read any of these books. Karen Brodkin wrote a book.
That one on the right, that one, they started there. It's a religion, so they started accepting white people into their religion. That's pretty easy. I don't know why it took a whole book. I said that in just a sentence. You could have made a handout, like just a card or something. You don't even need a pamphlet. It was just a sentence, like maybe like a sticker magnet to put on your fridge.
No. Balderson reads books in 20K. Gnostic Academy. He's got a big lens that he puts in between his eyeballs and the books, which allow for him to read in 20K. I think you must have misunderheard.
Was the StreamYard
an
link
earlier
received?
explanation? What's that?
Was the StreamYard link received? Confirm that.
I don't know.
I'm not used to talking when I read though. That one's new for me. I did a lot of reading because I was alone.
I played the entire Dave Chappelle racial draft bit on NFL draft day a couple of weeks ago. And I particularly find it hilarious because Billy Burr has hair.
Ha!
Yeah.
The StreamYard is open if a guest is available.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Or you can hang out in the chat and we can
We'll just continue
we
listening.
continue on with the show.
With the sermon.
Yeah. Freeman retired.
Yeah, he you know what? When you got cunts like Jay Dyer stealing your info and putting it out as theirs and taking credit, when you go from millions of subs to 0 subs, like the Freeman Fly, the free zone that was on YouTube wasn't even his. He wasn't allowed to be on YouTube. They allowed some other guy to steal his shows.
Yeah. That's right.
And air it, and Freeman wasn't even allowed to air it. This guy's making money off his work that he can't make. And eventually that just gets old. Well, then I think the straw that broke the camel's back was PayPal. And people got short memories, but PayPal and Elon Musk were the first people to try to implement the social credit system, where PayPal decided if you said something on social media they didn't like, that they could just hold your money and shut down your account and all that. And they went and retracted it and said they removed that policy, and then later quietly re-implemented the policy but didn't enact it again. So it's sitting there latent for whenever they want to use it. But when they enacted it shortly, Freeman was one of the ones that took a hit, and Freeman basically lost half his income overnight. And because a lot of his income was through PayPal, because PayPal was originally supposed to be a way to free you from banks, and the conspiracy community moved toward that fairly heavily. And then they were the first ones to fuck people. Right. So you take enough hits like that, and he didn't enjoy being a public speaker particularly. He's very much like me. He likes the information, but like a lot of people don't know, even before I speak now, even like if I have something in my hands, like when at my last event with Marcus, where I can hold something and I'm just talking about stuff I'm doing and holding, and the world doesn't even exist. I'm just talking about what I'm doing. But if I got to look up at people and I see people staring at me and all that I feel, I get super self-conscious. I feel like a jackass. I'm like, why, I'm waiting for somebody to yell out, "You're fucking dumb." Like I'm not, like it's not an enjoyable experience. The lights that they're screaming down in your face, it hurts. I sat there and stared at my wife, who sat right in front of me, so I couldn't see the lights. It's not particularly fun, and I understand where he's coming from. And he said he doesn't ever want to be on the internet again.
Fair. Right? Yeah, no, I get it. I do. It's frustrating as fuck. And yeah, what he got done dirty, like a fucking half a dozen different ways, one right after the other.
Yeah, by friends, by the system, by the tech. Yeah, he got shanked just over and over, and eventually, and then the whole thing is he's hit the point, and I'm also at this point where you hear people talking about things that you were that you brought into the system, and they don't even know who the fuck you are. Like, and they're experts on this thing that you're the one who, like, you're like, okay then. And he's old school enough that it's at that point. like today, people know who Jay Dyer is. They don't know who Freeman Fly is. Jay Dyer took all of his information that he started out with from Freeman Fly and ran with it, and took Freeman Fly's old lady. Like, how are you gonna go? You know, like, you can only take so many bumps. You know, I get it. I get it. It's rough. We love him. Those of us who remember.
Yeah.
Real recognizes real. There's more to these books than meets the eye. I know we're streaming to a few different places. I thought I saw a comment on the screen from a guest who was invited to join us. Does this guest have the StreamYard link?
Which guest?
He should. Yeah.
Which guest? Where? Mr. Leeds?
I think so. Was that
that
I mean, he's also.
It's in your email there, sir.
We're on different YouTube channels.
We stream to like freaking 8 different platforms there, Marty. You ought to know that. How do you not know better? How do you not know that it's built up on Rockfin and fucking shit? You know better.
It's spread across a lot of different platforms. Plus, we release
you're gonna pretend like you don't know the difference.
Yeah, the downloads
Once
on the
again,
podcast.
why we acting silly, Marty?
Yeah. Let's listen to some more of this.
Okay, no, you mean Europe? And then this is funny. Noel Ignatieff, you know this guy, what a pile of shit. He's a Hebrew. How the Irish became white, how the Jews became white folks. You say white, and now you allow basically this sort of whitewashing where, guess what? Hebrews, the foreign element, get to come in and just mix with us, and no one knows. You know, until now anyway. So, Red Ice, they actually talk about this. You guys know Lana and Henrik over there. The future is the past. We'll talk about these guys next week when we do paganism, when we do resacralizing paganism. I know, a Christian pastor resacralizing paganism. I know, all the Christians, we don't give a shit. They have a shirt called Folk First, and this is what they mean. If you said white first, people would lose their mind. They would, if you printed that, if you had some sort of like, if you had Stripe on your site or something like that, and you put a shirt that said white first, they'd probably shut your account down.
He's not into the heathen pagan culture, so he doesn't really get what that means.
Right.
There's two branches in the pagan community: Universalist and the Folkish. So Folkish, you have to have been, say, from Germanic heritage to particularly be welcomed in it. The community that Marcus brings up in Minnesota there, where they have a church or a Hof and all that, in an old church, they're Folkish and take rashes of shit for it. Nationally.
Yeah. You're muted, Mang.
Yes, the threat of Christian nationalism, I think, is in focus in the Idaho area. So there's a lot of people exposing the threat of Christian nationalism. The group that moved into Minnesota, they've been exposed at an international level for just buying property and moving in together. This is where we're getting into our sermon here.
We're talking about the Bears.
No, I'm talking about
that's Idaho, right? Well, then they got in trouble in Idaho and moved it to Missouri.
There's an actual church and political structure, and they have private security and all sorts of things.
Which denomination?
Christian nationalism, I think, is the denomination.
That's an actual denomination?
No, but if you read the headlines, that's what they would call it. So they kind of group this.
Well, like Marty's point, where they call all the white people white, and it just makes it into one thing. I don't disagree with that at all, and obviously they're going to paint that as just that. But I'm just curious which nationalities is it, because it seems like.
Whoops.
It's all right. Inside secrets.
Let's watch for our guest if he shows up, because it is in his email.
I am. Yeah.
All right.
there are inside secrets, there are outside secrets, and there.
He dipped as soon as he was spotted. It seems like, or at least he stopped commenting.
Well, one would presume to get his stuff ready and jump in and whatnot. I give him the benefit of the doubt. We shall see. The jury is out yet.
Okay. There's more here. Let's listen.
Ooh, we don't give a shit. They have a shirt called Folk First, and this is what they mean. If you said white first, people would lose their mind. They would, if you printed that, if you had some sort of like, whatever, if you had Stripe on your site or something like that, and you put a shirt that said white first, they'd probably shut your account down and stuff like that. But they're saying the exact same thing. But what are they saying? Folk first. What is it? It's the white European folk people. It's our stock people that they're trying to dissolve and completely wipe out and demonize. So folk first, yeah. Doesn't everybody put their folk first? Isn't that like the base of what it is to be a human being? I'm not saying don't be philanthropic. I'm not saying don't be charitable. I'm not saying don't be in service. But we're in service. But guess what? Guess what comes first? Me and my wife come first. Before you guys. Why? Because if we don't and we just let our shit go, then how are we going to be in service to other people? No, our stuff needs to come first. And then once our house is set, then we can go out and help others. That's how it works. So of course your stuff comes first. That includes your country, your nation, your heritage, your religion, your language, and your race. What makes a nation? Your nationality was obviously your race, your color. Obviously, look at the nations around the world. Mexico, what are they filled with? Chinese, what are they filled with? Africa, what are they filled with? Isn't to say there aren't other races there aren't other religions, stuff like that. But what is the predominant thing? What makes a nation? It's race. Why do you think that they're trying to destroy all the white nations? Because they don't want the white people to have a race anymore. Why? Well, because guess what? Being white is sacred. God made it. And guess what? We're going to find out this whole demonizing of white is actually the exact opposite. And you know what? I'm kind of fucking proof of that.
I mean, not with that tone, Marty. It's a little presumptuous, man. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, it was the trade language.
Yeah, the lingua franca.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if this is the clip you were discussing earlier about language and English language and the white language. Or the European language, a family of languages.
But by far, you can take all the white people in all the white areas, and we don't touch India or China or anything like that.
Sure. So if this were a debate,
we just do not breed that much.
The guest made the claim, race makes the nation. Race makes the nation. That's the claim. Do we have thoughts on that claim? Race makes the nation.
I got nothing for it. I got nothing to say against or for it. I don't know. It's a weird thing to say a little bit, but
yeah,
say it's necessarily wrong, but can't say it's necessarily right. I ain't got nothing.
Right.
In the entire argument, the entire sermon, there's an idea that's being elaborated on with this presentation. He's got slides, he's got books, he's got references.
Sure.
Building up a argument, and now we're reflecting upon the sermon as it's happening, and we have thoughts. So we'll get through this.
Got one of my favorite Italian desserts, a lingua franca.
Thought that was a non-kosher chili dog.
Sounded like a dirty thing, and sound like something that you do to a girl in France.
Right, not to be confused with, the Mexican food version of lingua, which is tongue.
There's a place in France that Marty
that is why it's lingua, because, whatever. Anyway.
There's a place in France that Marty has resacralized, but I don't know which place.
Is it where the naked ladies dance?
Let's resacralize nudity next week. What do you say?
Resacralizing titties on the
Make the
Marty
sacred
Leeds
sacred
show.
again.
I mean, I don't even know if you need to make a case for that. I think it speaks.
You
for
really
itself.
don't. Nothing, babe.
Just listen to Marty videos.
So, race, by the way, there's a reason for this. Now, whether you want to think this way or not, this is the fact. You might not notice race, white man, but guess what? The races notice you. Race, what is a race? It's a competition between runners, horses, vehicles, boats, etc. to see which is the fastest in covering a set course. We'll talk about this at the very end, about race. What else is a race? It's each of the major groupings in which humankind is considered in various theories of context to be divided on the basis of physical characteristics, shared ancestry. This is not coincidental that these two words have the same, or the same word have these two meanings. Once again, maybe you don't look at it as a race. Maybe you don't. But there are a group of people that are actually of the synagogue of Satan that see themselves as a race, and they sure think it's a race, don't they?
Marty's bitch ass sent a fucking email.
Instead of just clicking a link?
Instead of clicking the link. So before the
Marty.
show started at 5:53, he said, "Here's your link as promised. If you feel like a man, being a man and having a conversation, come on. If not, then there you go." He said, "I do not take you seriously at all, nor should anyone. They're after Jesus. Oh, I can't be anything but a piece of shit little."
I mean, he took you seriously enough to hop in the chat and lie about you.
Took me seriously enough to have you on your
know.
show. Took me seriously enough to be on your show.
He sent you a book.
Yeah, mine. Sent me your book. Wanted my feedback on it. But yeah. Nor do I care about your link. Enjoy your shit show. Nor do I give a fuck what you think about manhood. But you should probably take a long rest after reading 20K books.
I think that the topic tonight is
what the fuck is he talking
race
about?
and white identity. We're
I don't
not
know,
talking
man.
about manhood at the moment.
Maybe
I've
he got
probably
you.
read
Maybe he
20,000
got you
books, so
confused,
yeah.
Ben. Maybe he got you confused with Cat Williams when Cat said he could read like 100 books a week or something like that. Something crazy. What was it, babe? Read like 1,000 books a month or some crazy shit.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, oh no, he's lying through his fucking booty hole.
No, I've probably read 20,000 books. Now, back in the day, half the books that were interesting, like back in the 90s, like especially fantasy, and I've talked about this before, when I read the entirety of the Mission from Mars series in one evening, because it takes about 45 minutes to read one of them books. Yep. And so I read one evening when I was snowed in. I lived without cable. I'm almost 50 years old and had a lot of time to read. Did 8 years in prison. Been real open about all of that.
Been burned through the entire Dragonlance universe.
Do we have a moderator?
Read the whole Dragonlance universe. Read fucking, I can name 50
All moderate.
Point of order, gentlemen. This
that I've
is
read
not
every
a,
book they've ever written.
All moderate.
this is not a debate about how many books anyone has read. We're talking about race.
But I didn't say that at all tonight. Maybe somebody asked or something. I talked about it at some point, but I don't find it that impressive. I just didn't have cable or internet.
Does Marty sell a T-shirt that says "Hell yeah, I'm mixed. I'm Scotch Irish"?
He's only read one book. Is his damn problem. He gets stuck on one. What a sissy bitch. I mean, yeah, when you say real
both
dumb
of you guys deserve to laugh harder at that joke, by the way. Fuck you both. Kiss my ass.
Hell
You
yeah,
had to-
I'm
you should
mixed.
have thrown
I'm
in
Scotch
Hobbit.
Irish.
I know we're not on the T-shirt page anymore, but
Is that how it goes? Hell yeah, I'm mixed. What's the punchline?
I'm Scotch Irish.
See, I'm such a Christian that I thought of like tape.
He's
like
got to have
Scotch
both
tape
the redheads.
and
Right.
Irish.
Right.
That's
It's
why he's
like,
extra
we have
tight.
both kinds of music, country and western.
I haven't been in enough bars or liquor stores to get the joke, so that's just my deficiency.
He's like, not only am I drunk, but I'm drunk.
That's not to the quality of your humor. at all. That's just my deficiency. I haven't drunk all the alcohol yet to have an opinion on.
Not only am I an angry drunk, but I wear kilts and play bagpipes.
So, gentlemen, this is not a coincidence.
I just got the Scottish side in me.
All right, race.
That's why
What is
Steve's
it?
not just blonde. He's more red. He's got the double down. He's got both the angry sides.
We're establishing our definitions. Race. It's a noun.
Right.
Okay.
Group of
Right.
people
On
that are
board.
actually of the synagogue of Satan that see themselves as a race, and they sure think it's a race, don't they? Correct? Okay. So let's just not mince words here. Let's just call a spade a motherfucking spade, okay? But to degenerate is literally to let your race die off and die, and not even but lose all of the things that are beautiful about it: the religion, the language, the symbols, the art, the architecture, all of it. Why do you think we have a full-time church and academy to do what? Understand this stuff again and elevate it and raise it and resacralize. That includes our race. That includes the Gnosticism. How much do we rip on the fucking pseudo-Gnostics out there? All day long, right? Why? Purification. How about Christianity? Why do I am I balls deep in criticizing Christianity? Because it needs it, because we know that the criticisms, once we criticize it, then we can say, okay, that's what's wrong with it. Now let's elevate it. It's the same thing with your race. Okay.
Are we elevating the sermon by criticizing it?
I'm waiting for you to get to the real good parts where he goes off shit unhinged. When he really gets crazy and starts saying dumb shit like we taught them fucking language and how to write and shit like that. When he gets real unhinged stupid. I'm waiting for that. And I'm waiting for Sunday when he gets unhinged stupid. We will blast that apart. That dude will never. That's why I said in my fucking thing, I understand why you won't debate with me. I'm an actual occultist. You're a dumb fucking Christian midget. Hey,
We are the hype team promoting the Sunday morning sermon.
yeah.
This Sunday.
You know, we want everybody to feel like they're a worthless piece of shit if they don't suck off a fucking desert hippie.
The
I will
desert
say,
god
though,
demand blood.
Those
Yeah.
those overpass banners, those are
You know,
very-
your thing doesn't exist without the Torah. You know, the Jew thing, you Jew light shits. That's why your whole thing's not against them. You can pretend like it's not.
Have you guys hung bed sheets over highway overpasses with
Not one time, no.
words?
Not bed
No.
sheets. No,
What did you guys use?
we had banners that were already printed up.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's cultural. That's cultural.
When he says we, I was not there.
Okay.
oh, it's true. That's true. Yeah. But it was incredibly anti-Semitic. No, I'm kidding.
And I would have approved. I just wasn't invited.
So this is the definition of degenerates: having lost or suffered impairment to the qualities proper to the race or kind. Okay, got it. Degenerate.
Oof, they're pushing that, which again, we're going to talk about all on our own, including I personally feel like the drummer for Weezer's wife got shot. And I think that's going to play a part into this somehow. I think that's going to ignite it because the lady, they're trying to charge her with murder. And the cops were behind a fence yelling at her to throw her gun down when people are running through yards and shit. Of course, she's out there with a gun.
So are you
And
telling
like
people
she
to
knows
stand
your
down?
cops. So now it's like you can't even protect yourself.
Are you telling people to stand down and not have a summer of rage and not a George Floyd 2.0 burning down Lake Street?
She was just making sure her backyard was okay. And between that and the lady in the park dropping the N-bombs and the kid that stabbed the other kid in the chest, it's oofta. They are boiling for a civil war. And if anybody remembers, one of the parts in the 2015 NDAA that hasn't been used yet but was signed was that Obama signed that UN troops could land and enforce in the United States soil. So because you guarantee that, you know, obviously our troops are going to be just as divided about issues as we are. So they are going to definitely import people to calm that right down. And those people will not be your brothers or sisters, fellow Americans. They won't care whether you're black or white or yellow or red or whatever. They won't care.
So, chat, is this real? I want to check in with chat. Is this real? If we have a meta conversation about the conversation, is this an East Coast, West Coast rap battle? Are you guys just beefing? Are you pulling our chain?
I thought we were friends. And if it was just I thought he was just trying to get a little debate going on. And instead, apparently,
Boy, did you read that wrong.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
He's still mad at you for making him get lost in a van.
What were the context clues?
I feel at this point like he did it. He again is channeling Owen Benjamin, and when Owen Benjamin went and ate the damn gummies with Joey Diaz and saw the devil, I'm fairly sure that's what happened with Marty.
Okay, so that's like when Moses saw the burning bush.
Oh, and that's why he's in a yurt now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this isn't an East Coast,
this
West
hippie
Coast rap
shit's
battle?
way too much for me. I'm gonna go live in a giant tent now.
Yeah.
Is this an intervention?
There apparently needs to be an intervention from the looks of his face. Jesus. He looks like he's
a little
tribal
branded.
branded.
A little backed up there.
Checking in with the brother. Okay.
We criticize it, then we can say, okay, that's what's wrong with it. Now let's elevate it. It's the same thing with your race. Okay. This is also why I do this stuff. Part of my Menominee blood to go into the natives and be like, hey, I'm going to take my time out of my white day and elevate that tradition because I don't want it to degenerate. Degeneracy is have lost or suffered impairment to qualities proper to the race or kind. And that's what's happening. By the way, that's happening by all the races. All the races need to get their shit together. Like white people, number one, you need to stop being so naive, stop being kicked around, fall in love with your own shit again. Indians, you need to clean your shit up. I mean, good Lord, have you seen the Ganges, right? Get some BO. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. All of the races have issues right now. The blacks, good Lord. Okay? So I think there's been a whole lot of degeneracy. What we're going to find, we'll probably hit on it this sermon, but we're definitely going to find it next week, is that guess what? All of those races have a common enemy. So the white man is colonialism, imperialism. We were conquered. That's all the white man did. They came and there's just racist and that's all they gave a shit about. And there was genocide. That's all you ever heard about the white race and them coming from Europe and going to different Australia and Canada and the United States and stuff like that. That's all you really ever heard. They came here and it was just genocide and they killed off the natives, that sort of thing, right? You don't ever hear about the fact that they were bringers of the Lord, right, Christians? That's what they were doing, and we'll see why. We'll see why that's so important to bring Christianity to these nations. They're also civilization bringers. Now, it's whenever you settle a land, whenever two groups of people meet, there's always issues. There's always going to be conflicts. There's always going to be things that happens. There's always going to be, murder and all that sort of stuff. It doesn't matter what the race is, what nation. If you get two to meet, there's going to be conflicts. That's just how it is. Okay. But they only told you about all of the conflicts that maybe the white man had with this group of people or that. But they never told you about all of the beautiful stuff that our beautiful white race brought to this beautiful earth. Now that we know what's going on, okay? Now, once again, I've got no problem with anybody that has mixed race. We have tons of those people in the church. You are all welcome here. I'd be the biggest hypocrite in the world if I had any problem with that. I don't, right? In fact, I also think, we'll probably talk about this next week, that... we know this, I know this, that God has a plan. Maybe part of this whole immigration thing and these nations mixing up and all of this shit that we're going through, maybe, just maybe God wants us to realize that we have a lot more in common than we think, and that we should also segregate and absolutely preserve those those differences amongst our commonalities, and also realize maybe this is what God wants with all of this sort of stuff. Maybe it's to get us everybody together to realize we have a common enemy. Do you think of that? For all you people who's like, oh, the countries are being destroyed and stuff like that. Do you know history? You know that there's been things like this that have happened in the past. So race mixing is aimed specifically at whites to dissolve that beautiful European whitey white skin, and what's also behind that, the religion. So now knowing this, just knowing this, hey, dear white people.
Yeah, and our religion's not Christianity. We're good people, and we know we're good people. You're a little bitch who needs to hold Jesus' pocket. Just like when you're in prison, if you're a weak little bitch and you need to be somebody's boyfriend and cuddle their balls and you put your finger in their pocket because you can't be a big boy by yourself. You're that's what you're doing, and it's pathetic. And dude, the way you behaved between Sunday and now, I agree. You need Jesus. Put your finger in his pocket, cradle the balls.
This, hey, dear white people,
follow that.
Fuck like bunnies. You know why I say this? Not even because I'm my racist. Or I'm a white nationalist or supremacist, stuff like that. I'm only saying this because I know how much it annoys Jews. It's like, I didn't forget about like promoting the white race or anything. I know how much it annoys my enemies. So I'm just saying, white people get together and just like 13, 14. You know what I mean? So
I didn't do it because it annoys Jews. I did it because I like having kids. I like kids. I enjoy my grandkids, and I enjoyed having sex with my wife a lot. Jews were not at all involved in the decision-making process of that.
Like 13, 14, you know what I mean? So, okay, so that's kind of a joke. All right, we're gonna shut this. All right, so stop this. End this baby. So why did I call this the problem and solution of National Socialism? It's because National Socialism is a problem for the establishment and a solution for the European, Christian, and pagan white man. Because the solution, by the way, regardless of Nazism or anything like that, the solution is always going to be, here's your maze that they want you to go through, and the solution is always going to be, the final solution will always be going like this and saying, whoop, fuck your maze. Tired of your maze. All your maze does is destroy my race and my religion and my language and my people and my nation, and I'm tired of your maze. And this, what's happening right now? It's organic. It's 100%. It's free range is what it is. It's no GMOs, okay? It's organic. It's going to happen. So, all right, that's going to do it, guys. Thank you all for today. I hope you enjoyed. Next week, kind of a trinity, kind of a trilogy kind of thing, if you will. So we did I'm a Jew and the New Testament is anti-Semitic. Today we did, of course, the problem and solution of National Socialism. And then next week, we're going to talk about paganism. And we're going to talk, once again, we're going to reference some of these Nazis, and they're like, oh, pagan, and the paganism is wrong, and it means you're back to nature and shit like that. Yeah, that's it. Because the Christians, they're not back to nature or anything like that. I mean,
no, the Christians aren't. But as a matter of fact, Marty, and see, here's where Marty would get shit on. As a matter of fact, Marty, trees were sacred to us. And what happened when the Christians came? They cut down the trees and they built churches, because buildings and society are sacred to you. Your people had the whole Tower of Babel thing where you fucking all had to glump into one thing. We didn't have that problem. That story doesn't exist in heathen cosmology or anyone besides the Jew-Christian one. And you would get shit on for saying dumb things like that. Yeah. Heathens are back to nature. We love nature. You guys subjugate. We live with. We love it. A good German just needs a sausage and a tree. That's not what Christians need. Christians need, they come and say they bring peace, but live by the sword. We all know it. You can, all you are is just a fucking Trojan horse with this shit.
So that might have already answered the question I was about to ask you. The claim here with, let's see the slide he has. National Socialism is a problem for the establishment and a solution for the white man. Let me say it another way. Nazism is a solution for the white man, a problem for the establishment.
See, and myself, I'm not a Hitler guy. I believe that he was part of the whole program, the whole agenda. You just got to look at fucking the Balfour Declaration. That was supposed to happen. And this plays into, in my opinion, what's going on right now, where he was showing all that stuff with how everything's anti Jewish. It's not Semitic. Semitic is a whole group of people, and Semitic is the languages they speak. It's a Semitic languages. So we got to get specific. It's just the Jewish religion. And in their religion, they always have to have these giant sacrifices. And according to their books, 6 million people the bad Jews need to die in order to get the return of Israel. Well, they still got more coming. And so they set aside none. This is part of why, in my opinion, they start accepting converts into their thing, because before that it was exclusively Hebrews, and they start accepting other people because those people are the wheat that they're going to shove out to be, or the chaff to be shoved out, and the actual Hebrews are the wheat. And so, no, I don't. That whole thing just twisted things, and they weren't particularly heathen. Like none of the things that they were, and he tried to go in and bring in every other religion. This was very universalist.
That's kind of the end of the clip that I've got there. I took a
you missed the part then, because he says he's getting ready to go, but he goes on for a while, and that's when he gets real batshit crazy with it. And starts talking about how they taught us language and taught us and he's talking about Native Americans, all sorts of stuff, and they taught them language and writing, and yeah, they were all walking around.
So it's a series of 2 sermons that are about 2 hours long. I had 4 hours material. I got it down to 20 minutes.
Good man. And it took us damn near 2 hours to get through it with Marty being a chicken shit.
So
which again, I get. I'm too well informed and actually studied these things. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, you want to face all the dipshits. I get it. You want to debate them. And, you'll go, even when they're tiny channels and you're all about it, but do you want to debate somebody informed who actually lives what he's talking about, who's actually put study into these things, actually tried them out? No, you don't. And we all get to see that. And it's sad, because I had a lot of respect for you, Marty. And honestly, this never would have came about if you would not just ran your mouth trying to use me to fucking get under my skin and trying to pretend like you're king shit. Like, dude, which comes off as funny because you're a fucking midget pussy. Serious. Like, and I'm not that type of guy even. I don't walk around flexing on people or nothing, but come on. And then to come on here and talk about, like, number one, there was no YouTube channel that has 3 people, and it had to have been our one small YouTube channel. And we all got banned from YouTube. You fucking know it. You went through it too, Marty, where you were getting shit too, and you didn't even fucking come out as hard on COVID, and you weren't part of the main group. So fucking for you to pretend like that's a thing, what a cunt.
Well, we got a rumble going. Are we on Rockfin? Probably.
Of course we're on Rockfin.
Of course we're on Rockfin. Of course we have multiple places where this is simulcast. And the audio is
bigger than the shit little YouTube account we just started not too long ago, and YouTube banned us and knows who we are. Oh, you're so surprised. Oh, what a fucking yuts. One dab and that dude was lost. His wife had to take him home. She had to go back to the hotel with him. He was done. That shit was hilarious.
So I'd like to just focus on his lines about maybe it's God's will.
The thing is your God didn't create us, dude. Odin did.
And that's maybe where you guys would have your disagreement, and from your scholarly perspective be able to talk about the pros and cons of Gnosticism, or what do you represent?
Odinism.
He uses the word paganism a lot, and he's promoting a Sunday sermon for this following Sunday morning, his third part, speaking specifically about re-sacralizing or resacralizing.
We don't want your nut sucking sacral shit. You can sacral your bum with fucking Jesus all you want. Sacral it right up. That's how them sheep fuckers do it over in the Middle East. You go ahead and get in on that. I would too if I were you. You're not a tough guy. I wouldn't want to fucking, I would not, like, I don't know what happened that you're white and so tiny. You must be from like freaking like England or something. Maybe a druid. He looks like a Druish princess.
Steve, did you hear this this phrase on this PowerPoint slide? National Socialism is a problem for the establishment and a solution for the white man.
Jawohl. What? Oh, it's a wrong meeting. Wait.
Yatzee or bingo? Or what game are you playing? Wait, are you speaking not English right now? This is a language that we're using. English. We've established it as America's language. English.
I mean, that's a take. That's definitely a take. However, you know, I think historically you'll find that National Socialism is the establishment. It's especially where the public-private partnership is concerned. They have a different concept of borders.
He must have missed Prescott Bush.
But the operating principles are the same.
Yeah, he must have missed the reign of Prescott Bush. And throw Windhammer's comment up on the screen. That one's a good one. Yeah, all the European countries were taken over a long time ago, and they castrated every one of them. That's 100% a fact.
Here we go.
Yeah, that's why those countries are the most castrated, the most liberal, just libtards, because that's been pushed on them for a very, very long time. It's bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, the Netherlands is the country that keeps banning David Icke.
Yeah,
along with, and so he's like by the Dutch banning him, he is de facto banned from the rest of the European Union countries. He's also banned from Australia. Yeah,
yes, Gnosticism is G for gay. Yes, I agree.
Funny.
Like it's just Christian, it's just Jew light shit. It's Jew. Oh, we do Jew magic, but we're not Jews. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, don't be such a cunt, Marty.
You don't have to be. I mean, it sounds like you're gonna opt to be, but you don't have to be. It doesn't have to be this way.
No, we could have had a nice spicy debate and still been friends. Like both learned some things. Instead, no different than the ortho bros, no different than the dudes I've seen you call out like Jay Dyer. You were nothing but chicken shit bitch. And you talk shit when you're doing your little sermon, but you can't defend your position. That's pathetic, dude. And against somebody that's friends with you.
Well, like, I gotta stop and ask, is that his position? We saw it on his slide. He read the words on the slide. Marty, is that your position? National Socialism, the establishment, the solution?
Yeah, Miss Prescott Bush. That whole damn thing was a setup. I mean, give me a break. Anybody that knows anything could have told you the Treaty of Versailles was going to fucking lead to another war. It was almost meant to.
I didn't hear any talk about Zionism. That was never mentioned. There was talk of a common enemy, and there's this thing on the internet where you have three parentheses around the word they, 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 and we all know who they are. They're the common enemy. There was mention of that.
Well, that was a little confusing because then he also included the small hats and the people that have the common enemy, I think. So I'm assuming he means Satan, which is how Christians always end up at things.
He mentions the synagogue of Satan. Okay.
Multiple times, yeah.
Okay. So a lot of ideas thrown into a blender on the topic of white identity, and then throwing in paganism and setting a trap and then catching a fish, and Balderson, you're being reeled in on the fishing line, and Marty's reeling you in, and then you guys are taking it to private direct messages, and then.
Well, like I said, at first, when it first happened, I didn't assume that there was an actual angry fight. I thought this was just like, like if you're going to have a UFC match with your friend. And so, you like if Steve and I were getting ready to debate, we'd have some shitty words for each other and we'd both be laughing inside, especially if it was funny. And we'd both pretend like we weren't laughing about it, but we would be inside. And afterwards, we'd both even admit, like, God damn it, I damn near broke when you said that shit. That shit's hilarious. Like, nobody's going to have hurt feelers.
Two wings on the same dirty bird. I get it.
Like, we aren't going to get like that. And so that's the vein I thought this was going in. And I was extremely surprised when it went the direction that it did. And especially after he was so cocky off the gate. I don't debate. I educate, and I do my job fucking well. Like,
right?
Ed,
whoa, hey, slow down, cowboy.
Yeah, come give me some of that educating, then, tough guy. Shit, like I'm okay with that. Make it spicy. Like we've been wanting a spicy one.
We
would appreciate it. I thought he was being friendly. Didn't know that he was such a little bitch. Like, once again, I realized you were going to lose. I was holding the better position out the gate because you said some dumb shit. But, like, you can hold the better position and still lose the debate. You've got lots of charisma. You've got a large audience of people that are dying to back you. Like, you would have held just fine. There would have been a couple hundred people on your page, just no matter how dumb whatever you said, were like, Marty, I found my way to Jesus. I was a piece of shit, but now that I sucked Jesus' dick and I took his cum in me and was baptized, I'm saved. Now I'm on Team Jesus.
So as an observer, just an outside observer in this space, I see the Orthodox bros saying that they have the correct version of Christianity and they have the truest church fathers.
Well, you see, it's the difference in the cradling of the balls. The like Marty, he's got the one hand technique, which is all right, but if you can get the two hand technique, you kind of massage the gooch while you do it. Like they're like, we've got it full on, and they get the deep throat. Jesus likes that best.
The gooch?
Yeah. He like he's Middle Eastern. He's hairy. It's very sweaty down there. It needs aired out.
Right. I think that's what we're doing. We're airing it out right now. White guys don't sweat in the gooch.
Probably frequently from you would have to just let it get regenerated by sunbeams.
Is that a better race indicator? If you have an allergy to
how
cheese, how much you sweat down your gooch?
Yeah, that is a good indicator.
If you need to powder your dusties or dust your powderies.
Yeah, white people sweat the least. And then there's a couple of them that compete, but you can tell by the distinct smell. Like if they're Indian, then it's going to smell like curry.
That's culture, though. Smelling like curry is a defining trait.
You just got to know that.
The Brits invented curry. It's like the only spice the British invented.
Tea and curry?
Mm-hmm. They did not invent tea.
They did not.
So there was mention of colonialism in some of these sermons. I didn't get all those bits about colonialism and white guilt and shame and building civilizations. And
you don't feel bad about some shit from a couple hundred years ago.
Who's Kevin?
Who's Kevin? Obviously looking forward to Kevin's side. Oh, that's Marty. That's Marty's actual name. Kevin.
Okay.
He's open about it, or else I would have been like, pull that down. But Marty's stated it before in numerous videos of his own, so it's not like that's calling him out. Like he might be a bitch, but I ain't trying to fucking go dirty like that.
Sure.
But he's openly admitted it. This is his name. Marty's something to do with something Gnostic, where like he has like the special lotion to rub on Jesus's gooch.
It's like when you see
ungent,
the light,
maybe it's an ungent, not a lotion, like an ungent with medicinal properties.
I was going towards the burning bush thing where
Apostate, Marcus.
the Abrahamic religions, guys. Let's go back to the origin of the Abrahamic religions with Father Abraham.
Is that where they bite the tip of the penises off and suck on it for a while? Like that was the first day.
That part was left into the scripture of the Old Testament. So this idea of the Abrahamic religions forming this monotheistic group of people, and then they begin to branch off and segregate and further self-select what they want to have for dinner. Some people liked meat, some people didn't like meat, some people had laws about eating certain types of meats on different days or nights or evenings after a sundown, or this type of thing. So they all decided how they wanted to do a meal, a ceremony, sing songs, dance, this sort of thing. You call it church, you call it synagogue, you call it temple, whatever you want to call it. Religion exists. We understand religion exists. What we're trying to wrap our head around is how religion intersects with politics, intersects with nationalism, intersects with race, and what they all mean. But then to end the sermon on a slide that says something about a problem for the establishment, and white guys should call themselves Nazis and be proud about it. Is that the message that you heard?
That is kind of what I got, and I would say that was not it, except for the part after the clip where he just starts going on, and basically everybody that wasn't a Christian white guy. What I hate to tell you, Marty, but those guys that started all that, they weren't Christian or they weren't white. I hate to tell you that. Like if you look at Greece and that whole area, those are not white guys. Hate to tell you, they don't look pasty like that, and that's sunned. Again, they don't look pasty like that. The damn. But if it wasn't white Christian, they gave the world everything and taught. The whole world didn't talk, and they were savages and didn't know how to do anything. Yeah, until Christians came, and like it's as bad as Dylan Sacoccio. When Dylan Sacoccio was like, and the Phoenicians taught the northern people how to make fire. You're like, yeah, that's how that went. Fucking the people living in the fucking frozen north, they were like, I'll grow like this until the fucking fire! Oh wow! Like you dumb motherfucker.
That's tantamount to Etruscan eraser,
right?
That is Etruscan eraser, and you're
They've been sleeping in husky
history.
pits the entire time.
So I look at the clock. I see that we've been deliberating. Our guest has been continually invited to the dinner party.
He showed up in the chat and was told in the chat and responded.
We can reheat the leftovers, whatever you want to eat.
He's much more comfortable with waiting until Sunday.
Okay.
Where he can go unchallenged. And if I was to bother saying anything in the chat, you can 1,000,000% guarantee I would disappear if I'm not already banned from his chat. Just gone back and looking for my name and banning me. Because he don't want to fucking people challenging the dumb shit he says.
I'm just trying to understand that I
want the dumb shit I say challenged, so I will get better. If what I'm saying is not right, come tell me so. We'll figure that out. And if I am wrong, I will change what I'm saying. I won't be repeating that shit no more. I promise.
I take your sentence and reword it a little bit to say, if what we said, Marty said, was not said by Marty himself, then Marty can correct us. Did we get anything wrong in what we listened to? And do we, not hear the entire sermon in its full context to misunderstand anything? Our intention is not to misunderstand. I think it was
do not look up and go like this and squint at the chat where people were talking to me and then start shitting on Odin. You whiny little bitch.
Okay.
Yeah, we can't resacralize it with your cocksucking weird. No, we have no accountability. Fucking, we need Jesus to save us, or we're pieces of shit. Religion. That's not going to resacralize the Germans. They've already been taught that fucking piece of shit religion, and they're rejecting it because that's not for us. We're Odin's people. We are strong. Odin expects strong people. He don't want weak ass sheep. He in fact, his favorites, he has this whole thing where he picks the biggest, baddest motherfuckers. Pretty specific about it.
Mm-hmm.
You obviously ain't ever going to be one of them. So I get why you want to pick the gooch fucking tickler fucking position. I get it. You're the perfect height for it.
I don't think any of us were alive I don't want to presume anyone's age, but I don't know that any of us were alive during the greatest World War I and II.
No.
Correct.
No.
So we were all born.
It's funny what my grandkids think.
1947.
What?
Were any of us born before 1947?
No, sir.
47? No.
I'm just trying to put together a timeline of history in my mind, and I don't want
My
to.
parents were not born before 1947.
I don't intend to recontextualize history in 2025. There's a general narrative of how Germany was involved with World War, and there was a lot of movies made about that. We're not denying anything at this point in the conversation. None
of them can include the Treaty of Versailles and what happened in between World War I and World War II. They're like, the Germans went crazy.
Sure, but again, I go back to that statement of like National Socialism is a problem for the establishment and a solution for white man.
Oh my God!
Is that what I would put on a T-shirt?
Is that you? Dog farts are horrible. How's that for a T-shirt?
Is that a recontextualization of the general understanding across all cultures and all countries?
How about I'd rather sniff dog farts and be a bitch Christian? Is that a good shirt?
Well, Gnosticism is a different version of direct knowledge. I don't even know that Orthodox bros or Christian bros or Pentecostal bros.
Their whole thing, as far as I can tell, at least the ones that do debating, is they try and make it so all knowledge and all logos, which is the word, comes from God. But it's a very interesting position to hold when one of the first things that God orders Adam to do is name things according to their book. Well, that would presume to me that Adam named them, not God. And then
Adam named them in English.
Dog farts, great.
Shout out to Dayglow Abortions. Those guys are great.
I know we have a Perry Farrell and Ice-T pinned conversation.
Very salty language in this particular musical composition.
Yeah, maybe we can end a YouTube stream first.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
I'm pretty sure it was this one. His farts aren't near as bad now. Quit acting dead. Wake up.
Yeah, is there remove view on YouTube? I don't know if there's a way. Steve, do you have the option to end certain streams in certain?
He was chasing around after the side-by-side today. He is very tired.
Let's cut some YouTube streams.
All right.
But he was eating trash when we found him. That was all he'd been eating was trash. So he had the worst, or trash or something.
Well, if you're watching on YouTube, good night, everyone. If you're watching on
love you guys.
Rumble, BitChute, Odyssey, or Rockfin,
these are the bonus features on the DVD. We have some commentary track. We're going to go back and listen to a sermon again and make sure we get all of the context clues.
Only we're going to do it naked and on mushrooms.
Correct.
We'll revisit that when it's time to auction Marcus.
This is how we resacralize deliberation.
It's true.
And you can't sacralize unless you're naked and lubed.
To everyone on YouTube, we will
see you next Tuesday with the sacral scrotum.
Yes, sir. Okay. Remove.
No.
I do see Deborah Wilson over in the Rockfin chat.
How can an educator not be able to argue his points? He's teaching. He's damn good at what he does.